everybody. So we are the Hallmarkies podcast, and this is When Calls the Hallmarkies, our recap show of When Calls the Heart. And I'm Rachel, and Amber is here.
Hi, everybody.
And Ruth is here.
Hi, nice to be here.
This episode is called Weather the Storm, and it was a pretty dramatic episode. Lots of drama going on.
Yes.
And and so, Amber, what was your sort of overall feeling about this episode?
So surprisingly, for an episode that had very little Rosemary and Lee and not too much Gowan, and a ton of Bill, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So go figure, huh?
Yeah, hey, there you go. Wow. What about you, Ruth?
Oh yeah, this was easily my favorite episode so far. So,
whoa, like of the season? Your favorite episode?
More than the wedding. I'm calling shenanigans on that, Ruth.
I know. I loved the wedding, but I tell you, this one, it's because, I'm so invested in the actors, Paul Green. So it was like such a huge vehicle for him.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I would probably say I won't say that it was I probably don't want to say that it was absolutely my all-time favorite episode, but it definitely his
wow
there with
yeah. Wow, great. Well, for me, I don't think it wasn't quite as good as last week's episode for me, because last week's episode had like the cuteness kids overload, which it was just so adorable. And then it had, you got Rosemary and Leland, and pretty much every character got just a fun arc. And so for me, I enjoyed last week better, but I think that this was really solid. And definitely if you like the drama kind of more than like the fun, silly antics, which is more my style, then this is like gold for you for sure. But I could never have a favorite episode not have Opal in it. Like that would never happen. So let's talk about it. So Elizabeth, it starts out, she's giving the kids the science project. And this was definitely the least dramatic part of the episode. And it is kind of amazing how much plot they managed to pack in to these episodes. They really do put a lot in there.
They do.
Yeah. And so she's pairing the kids off for the science project, and Emily gets paired with Harper.
Yep.
And he is very insecure about his science knowledge, and so she basically kind of takes over and does the project, and we kind of go back and forth to them over the course of the episode. And I don't know, Amber, what do you think about this?
So I loved it.
Yeah.
I am just becoming so in love with Emily, but that's because she is just a tiny little version of Rosemary.
Yeah.
Which I can't get over how much I love that. And I thought it was so funny when she was pairing up the kids. I could just imagine I've always said that if I was a teacher, I would assign kids to group projects, like the kids that I wanted to fall in love and get married when they grow up. And I could just see Elizabeth being like, Anna and Cody would be cute together when they grow up, and Hattie and Robert, and Emily and Harper would be so cute. So I kind of just thought that was so funny as I was watching it. Because, if you imagine the show goes on for another 10, 15 seasons, couldn't you imagine those three couples being like the mainstays of the show?
Gosh. Oh, totally. Totally could.
Anyway, so I just thought that was so funny, and I just thought it was hilarious.
They could totally like Love Comes Softly it, like sort of hand it over to this like new generation.
Yeah. But so I thought it was so funny. And then Emily is just, not only is she me during every group project, but she was so Rosemary about it. Yeah. Because for a fact Rosemary would be like, don't worry, I'll just get an A for us. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that was so cute because she was with Rosemary last week, and they were adorable together. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. And it was really funny to see Hattie. I was like, oh, she looks happy after that mysterious ice cream store. visit of last week that we heard about. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I know for me, I could totally relate to this situation because pretty much every group project I ever worked on, even all the way up through graduate school, it was this way. I always did the lion's share of the work, and I tried. There was one time, this was in graduate school, I was like, I'm gonna let them do it. I'm gonna, take the second role. And I got back. I'd gone on a trip. I got back, and it was very clear for me that they had completely misunderstood the assignment, and I had to call my dad. This was for a class on human resources. This was my business MBA. Anyway, I had to call my dad and be like, Dad, I need to do a survey of all the employees quick. And we got it out, and everything was saved. And I basically pulled off this entire project that like 5 people were supposed to work on by myself in like 2 days. And that was just the story of my life with projects. So I very much related to Emily in this situation, because you want to get a good grade, and you can't let these schlubs ruin your grade.
True.
Right? Yeah. So it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, all right. So there was that. And so Elizabeth tries to teach them a lesson, gives Harper a chance to redo the assignment, and Emily's really...
Which I loved that. Is I knew when it was happening, I thought, Elizabeth is going to take care of this because she knows what's going on. And the thing, I always have said that my favorite times of watching Erin Krakow is when she is with the kids. She is always that is, I know that people probably would say, oh, we love her with Jack. Okay, she's fine with Jack. That's fine. Yeah. She and Daniel Lissy, they're great together. Okay, that's fine. But I love watching her with the kids. There's just always that special way that she has with the kids, and so I knew there was be something great. It was like, and I was really kind of cheering on Elizabeth, like, yeah, that's the way to do it. You call the kid out and kind of embarrass them so that they, and I liked that.
Because it wasn't just that Harper was lazy, it was that he felt like incapable.
Right.
So I think that especially gives cause for him to do it again, so that he gets that confidence that he is capable of doing science.
Right. And I love the fact that she didn't just speak to Harper, but she also spoke to Emily, and she said, Harper was very much at fault, but she even pointed out to Emily that you shouldn't just be jumping in and trying to do all the work. You need to let him do the work too.
I know. I should have had that speech. All those years.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't know. Amber, was that you in school too, doing the group projects, or?
I mean, if we're going to be super real, like, yes, it was me, but also it was really my mom. Like my mom was basically MVP of every group project that me and all of the kids in my school were in. So thanks, Mom.
That's so funny. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have the arrival of Carson's sister-in-law, Rhonda, and she has a big announcement. And I was confused at first about this because I forgot about that it was Cindy Busby who was the sister-in-law before, and so I was like, I thought the sister-in-law hated him. Like, I was just confused about what was going on, because she was like, at a certain point she says, I never blamed you, and I'm like, yes you did, but I was getting my
you were getting your sisters-in-law confused.
Right.
That was Marlise, not Rhonda.
It was very confusing. So and it turns out she has a tumor, same as Carson's wife had, her sister, and that was pretty intense. Ruth, what do you think?
Yeah, that whole story was I thought was fantastic, that the writers gave Carson this story arc, because he's had a few little things here and there, but this was like a very major dramatic one that he doesn't always, and really Paul Green in general with Hallmark doesn't usually get something that dramatic.
Yeah.
Usually he's kind of he's in the romantic comedy. He's got the nice banter back and forth, and they aren't really solving something that's this serious.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was really something to see, because I knew that Paul could act. I knew that he, could do the dramatic stuff, and it was just good that they took full advantage of that. I think in this scene.
I agree. That is very true. What do you think, Amber?
I thought it was probably the best part of the whole episode.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think it was easily the best part of the whole episode. The kid storyline was fun and cute, and I love the kids. Hooray. Right. But also it added a sort of gravitas to everything that was happening.
Right.
And, they spent so much time there. We really got to know more about Carson and his wife.
Yes.
Even more than we have when he was having the struggle with Marlise, because that was less about, what he had gone through with his wife, and more about, keeping him from getting sued or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So it was really nice to see Carson really explore his grief. Which I think is a good next step for him, but also it was just nice to see, the people around him come together and help him work through what he was going through.
Yeah,
I agree. It was really a good emotional storyline, and I liked the way. I always like when you have these plots that really involve a number of people. Like, you had a good moment for Faith. It had a good moment for, obviously, lots of good moments for Carson, but it had a nice little moment for Leland going to help. So I like that when it can involve more people.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was really Bill just has the worst luck traveling. Like, every time he travels, things happen. It's very, very bad. Even last time was for the wedding. He gets in this stakeout and everything, and now and so they end up losing one of their horses, kind of, and then things are getting kind of cozy, and then all of a sudden there is this huge snake, and Bill gets bitten by the snake, and then the horse gets spooked away, so they have no horse, and they have no anti-venom. It's pretty intense. So Ruth, what do you think about this?
I honestly love these two actors together. I think that Jack Wagner and Josie Bissett, I think, are just. I'm sure it's because they've worked together, of course, in the past, and they continue to work together. But I like the fact that AJ will stand up to Bill. She's not a shrinking violet at all.
Yeah.
And so I love that, and I really think that having her in the series, I think even in some way, because sometimes you wonder, sometimes Bill, because he doesn't in the first couple seasons or so, at least there was the love interest, there were issues here and there, and then it's been kind of like, since that's all been gone, you sometimes wonder, why is Bill still there? Sometimes does he even have a purpose? Then you have AJ come along, and there's a purpose. It's like, this is his purpose. This is his purpose to fight with her. And at one point, I guess that the production company really liked my tweet, because I tweeted out something about that the two of them were fighting like they were an old married couple, and they just thought that was a great tweet. They don't usually they don't always pay attention to my stuff when I am live tweeting. So I was like, okay, I must have really caught the right thing, because that's what they reminded me of when they're going back and forth. You almost think of they're this old married couple just going around in circles, and so I liked that, and I did like the drama. I liked the drama being added into it. I really think it gave both actors a chance to really shine, I thought.
Yeah. I thought that Jack Wagner did a pretty good job, with his performance, acting like he had been bitten by a snake, and I don't know, it was believable to me. And I do think they actually have pretty good chemistry, and I thought it was good. It was, and I think the problem with I think the problem with Bill sometimes is that he can be kind of just a nag. He's just kind of judging people and just being kind of a nag to people. Right. And so I think it's better when you have that kind of character with somebody like AJ who's like calling him out on his like shenanigans. And so I don't know. I think it works much better to have the two of them together. So
I do too.
What did you think, Amber?
I wanted the snake to win. I'm just I'm just kidding. Okay. No, it was really great. Like I said, they did a really good job with this storyline. Mm-hmm. I did not think for a second that Bill was going to die. Well, his plot armor is way too thick, so he was. I mean, that was just an excuse to make them spend time together and be vulnerable. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good, storyline.
Very good. Yeah. And so then we also have Gowan and Abigail trying to talk to Mrs. Preston, trying to relieve her, she's angry that she's being put in competition with this other guy. And so she's kind of upset with him. She's like, I don't play second, all this stuff. And I thought that there was some moments that it was like, ooh, Abigail and Gowan on the same side. This is pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did that make you excited, Amber?
Oh, I made me excited. I was like, yeah, Abigail and Gowan. And when he was like, I would have thought he was the fit for me in the past. And she's like, oh, but Henry, you're so changed now, my future lover. She didn't say the future lover part, but I saw it in her eyes.
I did too. I'm with you.
You're slowly coming over to the good ship, Henry Gale. That's where it is. That's where this boat's stopping.
All right. Yes. So then we do have some more of Carson and this is when Faith is like, what if your experience with your wife helps you save her sister? That was a really good moment. I think this was the best moment for Andrea Brooks on the show today.
Yes, absolutely.
Acting wise.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they don't really give her much to do most of the time. She's usually just there being helpful. Or just being sweet. And in this moment, she was in fact being helpful and sweet, but in a very real and meaningful way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very true. So, okay. Then we have the Bill ends up getting saved by AJ and the Mounties. And we find out that he has contacted the prosecutor, and basically they've agreed that they are going to lessen AJ's sentence to the same as Gowan's, which I didn't even remember what exactly AJ did.
I know. I think he said less than Gowan's, wasn't it? It's not
was
the
it?
Same.
Okay.
I think that's what he said. Is it'll be even less than Gowan's.
I can remember, but yeah, it's going to be short for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, they were all in. She colluded with them, you guys. She was in collusion with stealing the money. Right. And frankly, I mean, if there's the guy who's like, "Hey, steal me the money," and there's the accountant who's like, "Let me cook the books and make it so you can steal the money," I feel like they're both equally guilty.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with her having a less sentence. I don't care.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
His like punishment was like, be nice for the rest of your life, and he was like, I will follow this I'll do it. So I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. So and then we have Elizabeth is very upset about the fact that Mrs. Preston is estranged from her son Duncan. And so Elizabeth and Abigail scheme, I guess, to bring Duncan to Mrs. Preston, to Hope Valley. And, at first I was kind of frustrated because I kind of agreed with Mrs. Preston when she was like, why don't you just mind your own business? Like,
and I'm like, excuse me, Mrs. Preston, you're on the wrong show if you want to have your own business be your own business.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just like, strange things happen and it's sad, but like, that's part of life is that like, I mean, if a single mom the way that he tells her that she was a bad mother, that would be devastating. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I'm not a mother. You're a mother, Ruth, so you probably speak to it. That would be devastating.
Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
Sure.
But sometimes, I think the reason that Elizabeth was so insistent. I mean, first of all, we know that Elizabeth always wants to solve everybody's problems except her own. That's always the way she works. But also, she and Miss Preston were old friends, and sometimes it does take take really tough love. Like you know, she really cared about her, and she knew that somehow, well, as it worked out, she couldn't say no to her grandkids. I mean, that's what melted her heart, of course.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty smart move, I would say, on everyone's part. Okay, we'll get the grandkids. We know, because you know, Mrs. Preston was still didn't want anything to do with her son, but then along came the grandkids, and that's all it took.
Yeah. When you pull out those adorables, like, there's no saying no to those kids. They were super cute.
Oh, Hallmark is like they pick out the absolute cutest kids on the planet every single time. I mean, they probably rival Disney in many ways, that they can pick out these. They just pick out the most adorable kids. I mean, that little curly top. Oh my goodness. I'm so just like, you just want to eat them up.
They kind of reminded me of the adorable little children that are being told about the dragon in the beginning of Lord of the Rings. Like, they were Hobbit children level of adorable, which is the highest honor I can give.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there is no way you could say no to anything. She probably would have given the kids the money if they'd asked at that point.
Right.
So all is made right and all is well, and Mrs. Preston ends up becoming the investor, and so that'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with her. Do you think we'll see her again, or do you think this is it for her?
Who knows? With this show, you think that you're not going to see somebody again, and then 2 seasons later they pop up. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it could be a clever way for us to bring back Elizabeth's family more into it in the season 2 thing, because you know, she's from the, you know, when Elizabeth's passed.
Right.
I mean, could she be the gateway to Marcus Rosner?
Oh, that'd be so great to have Marcus, to have Marcus come back into the show. That would be so awesome.
It would be so good. I agree.
Oh, I don't even care if they bring him back as a criminal. He could be like, I mean, you know, a debonair criminal, of course. You know, one that's that never gets put in prison, but
yeah, it would work. Either way, however they did it would be fun.
I just would love to see him back in the show. That would be awesome.
So then, finally we find out the surgery was a success, and this is very exciting. Everybody's very relieved, and it's just a really cute ending to this episode. So a lot of melodrama on this episode, a lot of things going on. So it was a good one, I think. And I guess my only question is, when do you think that we're going to get Jack back? Amber, what do you think?
I am not sure when we'll get Jack back. I would be so happy if they decided to write in World War I and they sent him off. And are they, I know it's probably none of my business, but like, is he filming other things? Does he cost too much money? Why is he only in a few episodes?
I mean, I know that they've been really trying to get him in other movies. I know that even Nina mentioned having one that she wanted for him, that she was writing for him. I remember in our interview her saying that. And so it's certainly possible. I don't feel like I've seen on his Instagram or anything like, oh, we're filming something else. So, but who knows? Maybe it's just not a big Instagrammer. I don't know. So there's got to be a reason, I would think. I mean, unless, he's just like really expensive for some reason to have.
I mean, I don't know. And I mean, as long as he's happy and the writers are happy and everyone's happy, then it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind that he goes off sometimes, because it does allow them to drag out their relationship, but in an organic way, as opposed to just the like nonsense of them dragging out their relationship while he's there. Just didn't make any sense. So it at least gives that a reason for the slow pace of their relationship. But I would like to see him, and it would even be fun if we just had like a voiceover of him having written a letter to Elizabeth.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Do you know, Ruth, if Daniel Lissing is doing some other movie or some other project? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. I wish I did, but if I had a guess, I would venture to say that he's probably pursuing other things, you know, hopefully, because I do know that he's permanently moved like to LA, you know, like that's become his, you know, not that he never goes back to Australia, but I mean, he's now got a new agent. I do know that that's confirmed. Like you can go and see that he's got a new agent. He's been doing new photo, headshots, because he's posted some.
Oh, okay.
So my guess is that he's probably trying to establish himself in LA, since, you know, he had a presence back in Australia. Now it's like you have to kind of reestablish yourself, and I think my guess is that he would probably, I know how much he loved getting to do some guest spots in other shows. And so I'm sure that he's probably trying to pursue other things. I do know that there's also a Hallmark movie that he and Rachel Boston are supposed to do.
Yeah, Nina's been writing that.
Yeah.
She told us about that.
And I know, and she doesn't know when it's going to happen, but it's like there, you know, it's been like, it's supposed to be Christmas, then it was supposed to be Valentine's Day, and now who knows when it's supposed to be, but.
And then it's back to Christmas again. Cheers!
right. So I know it would be nice to see him. I was agreeing that it would be nice if we could at least get some kind of glimpse of him or something, but it is possible. Now, I'm only saying from conjecture. I don't know this for sure, but it is possible. I do know that some actors put into their contracts that they will only do so many episodes.
Yeah.
You know, there are many actors that do that. And so maybe that's part of the negotiation is that he's agreed to only do X number of episodes. And so they already know this going into the season. I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me, just because he's the star. You know, he's one of the two leads of the show.
Right.
And so he probably at this point has some bargaining power. If he only wants to be in a certain amount, he can say that.
Right.
And that's no reflection on him, but it would have been. I agree. A voiceover thing, that'd be really cool if there was something. If you at least had some connection, even like a 30-second spot, like even showing him in what his Mountie duties would be really. Because didn't they do that once, like last season? Didn't they show him with a bunch of Mounties like at some point?
I can't remember.
I don't think they showed him. I think they showed some stuff when Anthony Konechny's character died.
Maybe he was not a part of that. I remember there being a group of Mounties, and I couldn't remember if he was there or not. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And we did get in the little blurb for next week that I guess that Gowan is going to be tempted to leave Hope Valley.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't see him leaving. I can't see that. I can't.
I mean, he does have an exciting new career opportunity available to him in Riverdale. But
the cool thing is he can do both. He can be in both worlds, because of course we're dealing with the early 1900s here, and we're dealing with modern day life. So it's like he's a time traveler. It's great. I mean,
yeah. Hey. So we will see what happens. That'll be pretty exciting.
He also has he did got messed up, but he had a nice little fling going on in Riverdale too.
Yeah.
He had quite a fling.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, people haven't checked out Riverdale. They might want to.
Okay, sounds good.
I want to see a little different side of Martin Cummins.
Okay. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our interview with Alonzo Duralde that we did that posted on Monday. We had a lot of fun with that, and our podcast on the Royal movies for Spring Fever. So we had fun talking about those, and so make sure you check those out if you haven't. And then this weekend on Hallmark Channel, there is just there's an Aurora Tea Garden movie on Saturday, I think. And
actually, no, not
it's Sunday.
Oh, is it Sunday? Sorry. Yeah, on Sunday on Movies and Mysteries. And then we have, of course, When Calls the Heart and Meet the Pete's on the regular Hallmark Channel. And so that should be fun to look forward to. And then next week on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the show Psych. And my little brother is going to be joining us, which will be super fun. Lots of fun stuff coming up. Make sure you check that out. And so, Ruth, where can people find you?
You can find me, mydevotionalthoughts.net is my website. I actually have some really exciting interviews we'll be posting this weekend. A couple of the kids, and also with Erin Krakow. That was one of those interviews I held off saying anything just in case scheduling didn't work out, and now I can say that it did happen, and it will be posting this weekend. And I've also got one of the Aurora Tea Garden cast members also will be posting one of the supporting characters, and a female character plays the mayor. I've interviewed her, and so,
I love mayors.
Oh yeah. Well, she's been. This gal's been all over the place. She has been all over Hallmark. I mean, so you will probably recognize her.
Cool.
But so that will be on my blog. They'll be posted there. Also, you can find me on. I do have a Facebook page. My Devotional Thoughts is on Facebook, and then also I have Twitter and Instagram, Ruth Hill 74, and that's where you can find me.
Great. And Amber, where can people find you?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and YouTube. So check that out. I'd love for you to subscribe to that. And make sure you're following us on social media at Hallmarkies Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And we are now on Stitcher. We hadn't gotten that, but now we are. So yay. Stitcher, iTunes, and SoundCloud, YouTube, everywhere that you can want to listen. We are there. So please subscribe, and make sure if you have a minute, put in your reviews on iTunes and your stars. That is very helpful, and just we really appreciate it. So thanks so much, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.